Two fires in Riley County caused by fireworks. A reminder from fire officials. Plus, some fireworks stands say they've had the best year ever. We'll tell you why.
You're watching 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
Well, good evening. I'm Sean Wheat in for Grant Stevens, and it looks like today was a warm day, but is it going to continue? That's the question everybody wants to know, especially that humidity. Let's check in with Peyton Sanders with a look at your first alert weather forecast.
Yeah, Sean, that's right. A hot weekend here in Northeast Kansas, and it looks like we're going to continue that as many of you might be heading back to work for tomorrow. The heat's sticking around. If you just have some outdoor plans tomorrow, yeah, focus on that heat. Highs back to the low 90s for everyone. There will be a slight chance for a couple stray storms during the afternoon, but here's what the radar could look like by 2 o'clock. It's going to be one or two very isolated downpours. Most of us probably will not see any rain at all. We'll see how long that humidity sticks around this weekend, when there might be a better storm chance later on. I'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Peyton, thank you so much. We have some information coming out of Riley County that we really want you to pay attention to. The Riley County Police Department is asking for your help searching for a missing 10-year-old boy. Take a look at this picture. Patrick was last seen at his home in the 4900 block of 59th Avenue in Riley County. He was last seen in undergarments with no shirt. Now, they do have law enforcement out in the area. They have search crews in that area, so they're asking folks to avoid it if at all possible. But if seen, you're asked to call 911 right away. In other news, with fireworks season coming to an end, many local vendors are claiming a huge increase in the amount of business. 13's Isaac French tells us why they suspect business was booming.
That's right, Sean. Some area fireworks shows had to be canceled this year, which led to many people searching for fireworks for their own backyard displays. It may look like an empty tent now, but just days ago, Second to None Fireworks was getting the most business it has ever seen.
Well, I'm happy to say we had about this big of a box left over. So I didn't have to deal with that at all this year. We sold out almost to the very last little chicken.
Billy Tomlin says of all the years he's been in the fireworks business, he's never seen the interest increase so significantly.
Business was phenomenal. 15 years and we blew away our best season ever. We were easily up 30 to 40% over prior years, which is a huge percent in a business.
According to the American Pyrotechnics Association, nearly 16,000 large-scale fireworks displays take place every year on Independence Day. But because the coronavirus canceled most of those shows, many Americans had to spark up their own ideas for their festivities.
People really look forward to those big shows. So, there was some sadness there, but also, it was exciting to see the people talk about, this year we're just going to do it ourselves at our home with our family.
Tomlin says while there may have been disappointment, he believes the cancellation of the bigger spectacle brought families closer together.
I think a lot of people took advantage of the fact that we didn't have the big shows to take that time and do something special with family that they don't normally do, because they usually use that time to go to the big shows. So I think it brought the families together. I think we saw that a lot this year.
Fireworks sales officially end in Shawnee County tonight at midnight. Sean?
All right, Isaac, and talk about one of those bigger shows. The Spirit of Kansas fireworks celebration has been postponed till September. We should hopefully find out what exact day that will be here in the coming days. Well, fire crews in Riley County battled two different fireworks-related fires on Saturday. The first was around 2:30 in the afternoon in the 3300 block of Marquee Hill Road. The owner of a 2008 Jeep Liberty was storing fireworks in their car when the inside of the car became so hot, the fireworks ignited. The Jeep was fully engulfed in flames when crews arrived on scene. No one was hurt. The second fire was in the 3700 block of High Plains Road just after midnight this morning. Riley County fire officials say a large outbuilding that has caught fire after fireworks were not disposed of properly. A pickup, tractors, UTVs were inside the building and destroyed. Fire Chief Pat Collins says there was $250,000 in damage to the building and over $150,000 in damage to the content inside. Well, talking about that, celebrations for the holiday weekend are winding down, but safety around fireworks remains very important. 13's Kimberly Donahue has the details on how to remain safe as you dispose of your fireworks.
The colorful blasts in the night sky may be done, but safety around fireworks is still important during the cleanup process after July 4th celebrations.
We just want people to stay safe and not burn their house down or burn a shed down.
The Shawnee Heights Fire Department says it's important to not treat fireworks like regular trash.
Some of the risks that we run into is that people just go ahead and put them in their plastic containers to set them right up next to the house. Those plastic containers start the rest of the trash that you have in there on fire.
SuperCast says it's important to treat the fireworks with water after they've cooled down for a couple hours.
We like to see them maybe grab a 5-gallon bucket with about half filled with water. Once the fireworks have extinguished and have been shot off, then you probably want to put those fireworks within the 5-gallon bucket and then submerge them.
It's recommended to soak the fireworks between 12 and 48 hours before disposing them into 2 double-lined plastic bags. And be sure to keep the cleanup process outside.
Don't bring them back near the house. Don't put them next to any of your vehicles or anything like that. They still could be hot, and never know, one of them could not have gone off as well, too.
And if you have leftover fireworks to hold on to, the Shawnee Heights Fire Department says keep them in a clear container and away from loved ones till the next use.
My number one thing is making sure that they're not reachable by the kids. Then secondly, with a dry, climate-controlled place.
Definitely some tips to remember. SuperCast commends Shawnee Heights Fire, or Shawnee Heights that is, for their safety with fireworks over the holiday weekend. They only had one fireworks-related call. Well, air travel is inching back, and this holiday weekend it has spiked, even as debate continues as how to keep flyers safe from COVID-19. Here's CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
Closed beaches in Texas and California, curfews in Miami. Welcome to a COVID 4th of July weekend. The city of Chicago is joining several states, including New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, requiring visitors from coronavirus hotspot states to quarantine for 14 days upon arrival. Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
We're going to do everything that we can to keep members of the public safe.
That will include visitors from California, and some don't like it.
Like, once you set foot on that ground, like, you have to quarantine. That's what that means. Like, I don't want to have to go through that.
But millions are traveling. Just how many is hard to predict. AAA did not offer its customary holiday travel forecast.
We definitely expect it to be down. If people are traveling for the 4th, they're definitely going to be traveling by car.
And probably not going very far.
Yeah. When people do travel, it's all local, it's regional, and it's going to be to places where they can social distance mostly.
More than 625,000 people passed through TSA checkpoints on Wednesday, among the busiest since mid-March, but down more than 74% from last year. Here, a desolate Chicago O'Hare at 9:45 that morning.
No question, flying is different. Here we are at the start of the 4th of July holiday weekend, and there are dozens of empty seats on this plane.
But that's not always the case. American Airlines said Thursday was its busiest day in months. The number of flyers up a staggering 878% from early April. The surge in flyers didn't sit well with Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley, tweeting from his seat, how many Americans will die because you fill middle seats.
American says there were at least 26 open seats on that flight, and it wasn't booked to a point that would have triggered the airline's social distancing policies had they been in effect. The CDC says if you are traveling this weekend, wear a mask, wash your hands regularly, and try to distance where you can. LA's mayor went a step further, saying cancel your plans and avoid gatherings altogether. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Arlington, Virginia.
Well, starting tomorrow, expect to see a road closure on Southwest Huntoon Street between Southwest Urish and Southwest Arbor Valley Drive. Crews will be working on a stormwater pipe that's in poor condition. That section of the road will be closed off. All businesses and residential properties along Huntoon will remain accessible for the duration of the project. It's scheduled to be finished by August 28th. And work on a manhole at the intersection of Crane and River Road will start on Monday. Construction will turn the area into one lane in each direction. Flaggers will be on the scene to assist. Work is expected to take about a week. Also starting Monday, the City of Topeka Utilities Department will resume utility disconnections. Utility accounts that are not in good standing may be subject to disconnect. The city says they are encouraging customers wanting to make payment arrangements or may be having difficulty pay bills to call their number 368-3111. There are various options available to help make payments. One 13-year-old was killed. 5 other people were injured in a UTV accident early this morning. It happened just after 2 a.m. this morning in Jackson County. Sheriffs were called to the accident about a half-mile west of S Road on 318th in northern Jackson County. According to the sheriff's office, 2 UTVs were driving side by side westbound on 318th Road when one of the vehicles ran off the roadway, flipping and ejecting a 13-year-old male. The vehicle that is was carrying 6 people in total, and 4 4 others were sent to the hospital, one of them in critical condition, 3 of them with serious injuries, and another with minor injuries. The victims' names have not been released. This is still under investigation. A motorcycle rider is in very critical condition after a wreck last night. The wreck happened just before 11 p.m. near the intersection of Fairlawn and Shunga. Firefighters at station number 8 ran out of their firehouse and were first on scene. The driver of the van left the scene of the wreck, but was found a short time later at the shelter house near Morningside Drive in Shunga. Police have not provided any other updates on possible charges or the condition of the motorcycle driver. Well, this year marks the 100th year anniversary of the Negro Baseball League. Coming up a little bit later at 10, we'll honor some of the names that were kept the big game leagues going. But first, the tragic love story of a couple's final battle with COVID-19.
You're watching 13 News at 10 with Grant Stevens. 13 News, Kansas News Leader. This is your First Alert weather forecast with Peyton Sanders.
Thanks for staying with us here on this Sunday evening, and hope you had a good 4th of July weekend. It was warm all weekend long and humid too, but you know what's new? It's July in Kansas after all. High temperature today in Topeka was 90 degrees. We hit 91 in Manhattan and Concordia. Those were the hottest numbers on the board, but all right around average. An average high is considered 89 here for the 5th day of July, and it looks like we're going to continue with more warm weather heading on into Monday too. Fairly mild for the morning, 73 at 7 o'clock. You'll notice all that mugginess, and once we get into the afternoon, high temperatures pretty similar to today in the upper 80s to around 90 for everyone. And you know, sometimes when it's hot, you get a breeze. That will not be the case tomorrow. We're talking about light winds out of the southeast, only at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And Manhattan today had a brief rain shower kind of come out of nowhere in the heat of the afternoon. This is the radar loop over the past 6 hours. Earlier, right about there, you can see that brief shower that occurred, had some lightning for a time, and then it moved on out of here. These showers that we had were driven by the afternoon warmth, and now that we've lost that, we're going to be dry as we move on into the overnight. Just some high-level clouds moving here into the northeast part of the state. So as we look at SuperCast and light and variable winds, there might be some patchy fog in some low-lying areas as we head into tomorrow morning. But if you're heading into work, nothing that's going to impact any sort of visibility in terms of driving conditions. Low 70s at 7:30. High temperatures tomorrow, again back into those upper 80s. And look at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. A few very isolated hit and miss showers will be possible. It's not widespread rainfall, but much like today, we might get a brief shower in the area. Rain chance, though, is only about 30%. And then we stay quiet heading on into Monday night. If you're wondering how long this humidity is going to be sticking around, we're going to be in that muggy category tomorrow. Same thing Tuesday into Wednesday. In fact, it's going to get even more humid. By Thursday, we're going to go up into that oppressive category. Well, what exactly does that mean? We'll look at our heat index values, what it feels like when you factor in the humidity. Yeah, 102 Wednesday, and it looks like triple-digit heat index values will continue through Friday. The peak of the heat's going to be 1 in the afternoon to 7 in the evening each day, so be prepared. Yeah, the heat's not going anywhere as we move on into the week ahead. And if you're wondering about rain chances, again, we've been talking about these hit and miss isolated storms. I think we'll have a little bit better chance on Thursday for some shower and thunderstorm activity as a weak storm system moves across the northern plains that could bring a few showers and thunderstorms from Nebraska down here into Kansas. Not expecting a great deal of severe weather right now. It's something we'll have to keep an eye on as we move on towards week's end, but at least a little bit better chance for some more widespread rainfall. Again, if you're hoping for some cooler weather, we'd really need a strong cold front to move through, but it looks like that cold front that you see on the map, it's going to stay out of here. Zero chance of it making it into our area. So it looks like 90s for high temperatures. Going to last all the way into next weekend. And a live view outside from West Topeka tonight, looking out in Wanamaker from our Capitol Federal Skycam. 78 degrees here at 10 o'clock with calm winds. I think there's a firework there. 70 degrees tonight, partly cloudy skies. It'll stay muggy. And then tomorrow, 90 with a slight chance for some afternoon showers and thunderstorms. And here's the First Alert 8-day forecast. Breezy winds out of the south on Wednesday with the high around 94. There comes that storm chance Thursday. It'll last into Thursday night. And next weekend, if you're already looking forward to it, looks hot with another chance for some thunderstorms Saturday night.
Well, thank you very much, Peyton. Well, the children of a Topeka couple are sharing a special photo with the world. The couple in the hospital, both fighting COVID-19. Sandy and Gary Schofner's, that is, daughters, hope you see the photo, hear their story, and take coronavirus seriously.
This is a love story.
August 13th would have been their 60th anniversary.
Sandy and Gary Schaffner were a classic tale of opposites attract.
My mom was one hell of a golfer. Dad sucked. He tried his hardest, and it was so cute. Whereas Dad's hobby and passion was fishing. Mom hated that, but she would go.
Two strong personalities.
Dad was always the calming soul to really all of us, and Mom was a firecracker.
Her feistiness is what made her who she is.
Together in health.
They loved to travel. They partied hard. They both loved the University of Kansas.
And sickness. Sandy beat breast cancer and a severe brain injury.
She had to learn to walk again. She had to learn to talk again.
And in mid-June, both caught COVID-19. Gary got sick first with minor symptoms.
In the span of 6 hours, everything just went to hell because his fever had spiked, his blood pressure had skyrocketed, his pulse ox had plummeted.
Days later, Sandy fell ill too.
They did nothing wrong. They were on lockdown since March. It just happened.
This couple, who spent precious few days apart over the past 6 decades, were now fighting for their lives, separated, no visitors allowed. Daughters Terry Mayhew and Stacy Vobach asked the administrators at Stormontville Hospital in Topeka if they'd make an exception for them to be together. They agreed.
They lowered the bed rails. They pushed their beds together so they could hold hands.
Terry posted this photo to Facebook, two faces of what for many is an invisible fight.
Frustrated with the mask thing. I was frustrated with the people not believing COVID. And I just sat down and I thought, you know what? I'm going to share this photo. Maybe this picture of Mom and Dad is going to be, it's going to drive the point home.
Terry put up the photo Monday and thousands of people shared it. Tuesday afternoon, Gary Schaffner passed away, his beloved wife by his side. Wednesday evening, Sandy took her last breath as well.
So she was fighting COVID, but ultimately, why do you feel your mom passed away?
Broken heart. It was Gary and Sandy, partners for life. And so it's a blessing that they were both called home to heaven within 30 hours.
What do you hope people take away from this story?
This is real. This is reality. Please wear a mask. Please, if you're not feeling well, don't go outside. Not think about it as someone's telling you what to do. It's just the right thing to do. And I don't want any family to go through this pain of telling your loved ones goodbye via FaceTime.
We don't wish this upon anyone. It is a brutal, brutal disease.
And as much as they're dealing with loss, they hope everyone remembers the love.
It's a relief. It played out how it did. And I'm at peace with that because they're together.
Now, the family calls the health workers at Stormontville the true heroes of the story. They say they act as honorary family members, providing comfort and support since families cannot be by their loved ones' sides. Well, coming up after the break, 100 years ago in 2020, the Negro Baseball League was started. We'll take a look at some of the names that weren't allowed their opportunity to play Major League Baseball. That's just ahead. Don't go anywhere.
If you're looking for anything like new clothes or even a new grill, well, July could be the month for you to do some shopping. Coming up Monday on 13 News This Morning, we'll tell you about a few great things to buy and some items to stay away from in the month of July. Doug?
And with the heat and humidity continuing, we'll take a look at the latest storm chances starting Monday morning at 5.
This segment brought to you by the Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library, celebrating 150 years.
You're watching 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
Well, Major Baseball League players started reporting for workouts this week ahead of an abbreviated 60-game season. This year also marks the 100th anniversary of the Negro Leagues, started back in 1920. As Jim Axelrod reports, fans are asked to tip their cap to those courageous players who changed a game and the nation.
The game where the Negro athlete has left a bright mark.
To salute some of the best baseball's ever seen in this lockdown season of empty stadiums with no crowds to cheer, the baseball world improvised.
I'm tipping my hat to the outstanding players of the Negro Leagues.
With some famous faces tipping their caps to the Negro Leagues on their 100th anniversary.
I'm tipping my cap to my grandfather as well.
Jerry Hairston Jr. played in the big leagues, part of the only three-generation African-American family of major leaguers. Before playing for the Chicago White Sox, his grandfather, Sam, played for the Birmingham Black Barons and the Indianapolis Clowns in the Negro Leagues.
They would entertain these white fans, but when it came time to go get something to eat or maybe stay at the hotel, they wouldn't allow them in.
The only way for African Americans to make money playing baseball before Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in 1947.
The king of the moundsmen, Satchel Paige.
The Negro Leagues produced players like Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, and Cool Papa Bell. Every bit the equal of white stars in talent, but banned from demonstrating that on major league fields.
His game heart and great arm have carried him to the heights of baseball glory.
You know, they called Josh Gibson the Black Babe Ruth, but many thought that Ruth should be called the White Gibson.
Artist Kadir Nelson has been tipping his cap in his own way for years, painting portraits of Negro Leaguers.
What about the Negro League ball players do you find heroic?
I think the mere fact that they were able to create their own grand stage. Since they were denied access to the grandest stage in baseball, this was a shining example of how to persevere, how to keep going despite the odds.
I am very grateful that I had all of these people who stood behind me.
Before he broke Babe Ruth's home run record, Hank Aaron broke in as a Negro Leaguer.
It was one of the toughest things in all of baseball to have to play in that type of situation. But I think that we did our share of tackling what we call racism in all of baseball.
As one of the few who got to cross the bridge, he's tipping his cap to so many others who built it, but never did. Jim Axelrod, CBS News.
Thank you very much, Jim. Kansas City had the Monarchs for 37 years. They were the longest-running franchise in Negro League history. The Monarchs won more than a dozen league championships. Well, in other news around the state, authorities say 3 people were killed and 2 others were injured in 3 separate shootings in the Kansas City area overnight. The first shooting happened in the Kansas City, Missouri area around 11:45 p.m. KCMO police said officers responded to the shooting, found an unresponsive man on the sidewalk. He died at the scene. 2 other men went to a hospital with gunshot wounds. Police believe they were injured in the same shooting. In KCK, police were called to another shooting shortly before 2:30 a.m. Sunday. Officers found a man dead from a gunshot wound when they arrived. Officers say a separate shooting was reported around 4:30 a.m. Sunday. Officers responding to that shooting also found a man dead from a gunshot wound. Well, a staple of Topeka is celebrating over 100 years of operation. Coming up after the break, we meet with the owners of Einstein's to get their secret to success.
Only one station provides you the live coverage to stay informed throughout the day. 13 News. Live on air, live on Facebook, and live on the 13 News app. 13 News. Working all the time, anywhere to keep you informed. Live, local, experienced. You're watching 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
One of Topeka's oldest businesses have been in the same family for 110 years. 13's Phil Anderson shows us how Einstein's continues to serve customers looking for outdoor and Army surplus supplies.
If you're in the market for a sleeping bag, a tent, steel-toed boots, Army fatigues, even a gas mask, chances are you can find them here at Einstein's at 1820 Southwest 10th Avenue in Topeka. The business has been serving customers here for 110 years.
Business started in 1910, and that would be with Nathan Einstein, immigrant from Russia, and set up a business in the 800 block of North Kansas Avenue.
The business that Nathan Einstein started has remained in the same family now for more than a century. Nathan's daughter, Fanny Wiseman, later took over the business, and now her sons Alan and Jack are still running it. Alan says he and Jack came back to Topeka shortly after graduate school in the 1970s and saw that their mom needed a hand.
So we decided we'd help out and never left.
Einstein's is decidedly old school in how it sells its merchandise.
We're not online. We only have one little device that runs our card purchases, and that's the only computer in this place. So for better or worse, we're dinosaurs, but it's worked for us, and it's worked 100 years ago, and it's still working.
Regular customers like Alan Large say they appreciate the individual attention they receive at Einstein's.
I'm a security guard, and I get all my stuff here. They're good people. They stand behind everything they sell.
If there's a secret to Einstein staying in business for 110 years, Jack Wiseman says it's how they relate to the customers.
The secret is to be good to your customer base, treat them fairly, give them good deals, and try and remember them when they come in.
The Wisemans are both in their 70s and say they have no plans to close up shop anytime soon. But when they do, there's no one else in the family who plans on taking over the business. They say they'll look for a buyer when the time comes, hoping someone else will be ready to step up and continue a Topeka tradition that dates back for more than a century. In Topeka, Phil Anderson, 13 News.
All right, thank you very much, Phil. Einstein's owners say they've weathered challenges brought about by the coronavirus pandemic. Their advice to people starting their own business is limiting debt, keeping overhead to a minimum, and being good to customers. That's always sound advice. And we hopefully will hear that Peyton Sanders is going to be good to us customers of the weather. And pressure's on, isn't it? Yes,
hey,
it is.
Well, I hope you like the heat, because some people don't. But that's all we've got in the forecast this week. We're going to kind of sound like a broken record into the week ahead. We've got lows around 70 tonight, partly cloudy skies. Highs tomorrow around 90. Once again, a few pop-up showers and storms possible in the heat of the afternoon, but I wouldn't count on the rain. It will not be widespread. Tuesday should be dry with mostly sunny skies, 92 degrees, breezy south winds Wednesday with 94. Our best chance of storms will come in on Thursday and into Thursday night with the high around 90. And yeah, nothing but 90s all the way into next weekend, possibly some more storms next Saturday night.
All right. Well, you know what? If it's too hot out there for you, thank you very much, Peyton, by the way. If it is too hot out there for you, check out these bears. When it's hot, there's nothing better than a scoop of ice cream. It's the same for everyone, even if you are a 1,000-pound brown bear. Caretakers in the Bellista Natural Bear Park prepared ice pops to cool the bears in the heat. The ice cold lollies are made of apricots and melons and put in different areas around so the bears can have fun finding them and searching for them. They want the animals to exercise a little bit before reaching the sweet snack, so they made sure they were pretty far away. It's been a park tradition for the past 9 years, so if you're too humid and you need a sweet treat and something cooled down, well, don't step into the bear pen. That's not good advice, but have something to cool down. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us. We will have Grant Stevens back again next weekend. Otherwise, don't forget to tune in the morning for more morning news with Chris Fisher. Stay tuned. I'm Sean Wheat. Have a great evening.
Get the latest news, weather, and sports at WIBW.com or follow WIBW on Twitter, Facebook, and our mobile app. Thank you for making 13 News the most watched evening newscast. When it comes to news technology, you see it first on 13 News.